Lois Griffin isn't the sweet, loyal housewife she pretends to be.
Come on now, just like that.
She's the worst kind of wife, the kind who smiles in your face while sneaking around behind your back. From kissing her daughter's girlfriend, to trying to hook up with Justin Bieber, to full-on affairs with presidents and neighbors, Lois has broken Peter's trust more times than we can count. So today we're breaking down times Lois Griffin betrayed Peter, and by the end you'll see why she deserves the crown as the worst wife on television. So let's start the show. Lois proves she's not just a bad wife, but a terrible mom in season for episode 19, when Meg brings home her girlfriend Sarah, and things spiral into one of the most uncomfortable family moments ever. What starts as Meg trying to show her mom she's serious about her new relationship turns into Lois hijacking the moment in the worst way possible. Instead of supporting her daughter, Lois steps in, grabs Sarah, and makes out with her right in front of Meg.
Look, I can't tell you how to lead your life. If you don't want to face the truth, there's nothing I can do about it.
Chris is standing there watching too, probably scarred for life. This wasn't just Lois embarrassing Meg, it was her flat out stealing her daughter's girlfriend to prove a point. And that cemented early on that Lois isn't only a bad wife, she's also the last person you'd ever want as your mom. And if you think kissing your daughter's girlfriend is bad, just wait, because next, Lois hooks up with a former president, and Peter actually walks in on it.
That was awful. That was just awful.
Just when you think Lois can't sink any lower, she ends up hooking up with a former president in season 5 episode 13, and of course it happens right under Peter's nose. What starts as a simple favor quickly spirals into one of the biggest betrayals of their marriage. It begins when Peter, in his usual I can do anything confidence, tries to help the Secret Service fix Bill Clinton's limo. Instead of calling a tow truck, he decides to lift the car himself, and of course, he does it the worst way possible, jerking his back like he's in a bad gym video.
Oh my God! Call an ambulance!
One torn spine later, Peter is flat on his back in the hospital, and Bill Clinton pays him a visit.
Can I get a picture of you on my cell phone?
Sure.
But Bill isn't just here to check in, he's here to relive his glory days. He promises Peter that when he gets out of the hospital, he's going to give him the time of his life. And what do they do? Of course, a trip to Chuck E. Cheese. From there, the two spiral into full-on man-children.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party. Yeah.
They make prank calls, they get stoned in a field, and at one point, they're seriously considering eating a pig straight off the farm.
We could do it, man. We could. It'd be so easy, man. It would take like a minute.
Could it really be that fast?
But behind all the green stuff jokes and pig fantasies, there's a problem. Bill is a bad influence, and Lois sees it right away. She tells Peter she doesn't want him hanging around Clinton anymore, but when has Peter ever listened to his wife? So Lois takes matters into her own hands.
Mr. President, I need to have a word with you. Wow, you certainly are very persuasive.
And that's when it happens. Lois and Bill end up alone together, and instead of staying faithful, she folds instantly. And then Peter walks in and catches them.
I swiped some money out of Lois's purse. I don't think she'll notice because she's here humping you!
And if cheating with the president wasn't enough, Lois takes things even further when Peter loses his memory. Because the next man she falls into bed with isn't some stranger, it's Peter's best friend, Quagmire.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lois. You want me to drag my sack across your face?
Every marriage has rough patches, but in season 8 episode 10, Lois takes advantage of Peter's amnesia in the worst way possible. And when you find out who she turns to for comfort, it's somehow even more disgusting than Bill Clinton. It's Peter's best friend Quagmire. This setup is ridiculous even by Family Guy standards. The Griffins appear on Family Feud, but when Peter gets a little too physical with the host, he ends up knocked out cold.
What happened? Where am I? Who are you?
I'm Lois.
Lois who? Who the hell am I?
Uh-oh.
One concussion later, Peter wakes up in the hospital with no memory of who he is. Suddenly, Lois isn't just a wife, she's a stranger trying to convince her husband to come back to her.
We're gonna have to reteach your father everything he's forgotten.
No!
A well a bird, bird, bird. But bird's a well a bird.
He doesn't see Lois as his wife, he sees her as some random redhead who won't stop talking to him. And when Lois tries to reignite the spark by sleeping with him, Peter's takeaway is that he should probably be sleeping with everybody. Not exactly the most faithful mindset.
And if sex with the rest of you is half as good as it was with her, then I think we're all gonna get along just fine.
Yay!
So Lois finally reaches her breaking point. With Peter acting like a stranger in his own house, Lois feels abandoned. She packs up the kids, moves out, and suddenly finds herself alone and vulnerable, and then enter Quagmire, the guy who has spent decades lusting after Lois finally sees his chance, and she actually falls for it.
Lois, oh my gosh, hi!
It starts innocent enough, with Quagmire pretending to cook her dinner, but by the time they sit down to eat, he's laying it on thick. A little too much wine, a few "you deserve better" lines, and Lois is putty in his hands. Next thing you know, she's upstairs in Quagmire's bed. Wearing her nightgown like this is something she's done 100 times before.
If Peter's never coming back to me, it's at least nice to know I'm in the arms of a trusted friend.
Uh-oh.
And if cheating with Quagmire sounds bad, just wait, because the next time Lois steps out, she doesn't just hurt Peter, she humiliates Meg again by kissing her own daughter's boyfriend. If you thought Lois kissing Meg's girlfriend was bad, things get even worse in season 8 episode 13, when she sets her sights on someone even closer to home. This time it isn't a stranger, it's Meg's new boyfriend Anthony, and what starts as Meg's happiest moment turns into one of the most humiliating betrayals in the Griffin household. It all begins when Peter, as usual, is teasing Lois for getting older, mocking a single gray hair like it's the end of the world. Lois is already insecure, and just when things couldn't get more awkward, Meg announces something nobody believes at first. She has a boyfriend, and not only that, Anthony actually seems like a decent guy. No weird obsessions, no creepy quirks, just a normal teenage boy who genuinely likes Meg.
He seems to be completely normal.
This was worth the 500-mile drive.
Even Peter calls him normal, which might be the nicest thing he's ever said about one of Meg's friends. But there's one family member who seems a little too interested, Lois. From the moment Anthony compliments her, Lois starts blushing like a high school girl, and things start heading into seriously uncomfortable territory.
I bet you taste like Mountain Dew and Starburst.
Lois confides in Bonnie about her attraction to Anthony, expecting to be talked out of it. But in classic Family Guy fashion, Bonnie encourages her. It's healthy to explore your sexuality. That little pep talk is all Lois needs to justify her worst impulses. So Lois sets a trap. She convinces Meg to go pick up her grandfather from the airport, leaving Anthony alone in the house. And instead of being a responsible adult, Lois pounces. She flirts, she compliments him, and when Anthony doesn't pull away, she kisses him.
Kiss me!
Of course, Family Guy doesn't let her get away with it. Meg comes back unexpectedly, walks in on the kiss, and loses her mind.
I don't want to talk to you. Get out!
And if betraying her daughter wasn't bad enough, Lois takes things to a whole new level during her midlife crisis. Because next, she sets her sights on someone much younger and almost ends up with Justin Bieber. If you thought Lois's cheating repertoire couldn't get more absurd, just wait until you see how she reacts to a pop star in season 11 episode 6. It starts as a birthday meltdown and ends with Lois trying to crown herself Mrs. Robinson to Justin Bieber. First, Peter tries to organize a heartfelt birthday surprise for Lois, but it backfires badly. He delivers a poem so tone-deaf it crushed her spirit instead of his heart. It sparks a full-blown midlife crisis, and Lois decides her best comeback is a total young and wild makeover.
Hey, sluts! OMG, stop staring at me, please. Okay, thanks.
Lois debuts a brand new version of herself. Gone is the sensible mom wardrobe. In its place are crop tops, short skirts, heavy makeup, and enough confidence to scare her own children.
Oh, man, this
That's so disturbing.
I know, gross.
She starts partying, popping pills, and dragging Peter into one reckless adventure after another. For a while, Peter is thrilled. His wife is acting young and wild again. But there is a limit to how many nights out Peter can handle, and eventually he crashes while Lois keeps chasing the thrill.
So if you don't want to run with the wild horses, then go back to the barn and go to bed.
Lois!
That is when she sets her eyes on Justin Bieber. She sneaks into his concert, screaming like a teenager in the front row, desperate to prove she is still young and desirable. And when she manages to get backstage, Lois does not hesitate. She flirts with Bieber, drops corny Mrs. Robinson lines, and makes it clear she is ready to cheat.
Okay, just get your pants off, hon.
And if you thought chasing after a teenage pop star was humiliating, just wait, because the next time Lois steps out, she does it with someone who looks exactly like Peter, which is his own son. If cheating with Justin Bieber was not disturbing enough, Lois takes things into downright creepy territory in season 15, episode 20. This time she is not just flirting with some random guy. She gets intimate with someone who looks exactly like Peter because he actually is Peter's biological son. The setup is classic Family Guy ridiculousness. Lois, Donna, and Bonnie are having a girls' night, pulling prank calls on their husbands. Bonnie pretends to be a radio station, Donna pretends to be Michelle Obama, and Lois decides to push it too far. She pretends to be a stranger calling Peter to say she is his daughter. Instead of laughing, Peter hangs up in a panic. Suspicious, Lois follows him the next day and discovers the truth. Years ago, Peter donated at a sperm bank, and now dozens of his donor children are living all across the town.
Okay, but hang on. You were a sperm donor?
Yeah, I'd almost forgotten about it, but
At first it is played for laughs. Peter suddenly has a house full of lookalikes, and the Griffins are surrounded by mini versions of him. But then Lois meets Larry. Unlike the other donor kids, Larry is grown up, good-looking, and surprisingly smooth, and this is where things get weird. Lois immediately notices how much Larry resembles Peter when they first met, and the nostalgia blinds her judgment.
Wow, I do have tiny blue weights in my garage.
It starts small. Larry helps her carry groceries. They get ice cream together. Then things escalate fast. Lois lets Larry lick ice cream off her face, and the two actually kiss. Lois is racked with guilt afterward, but instead of confessing to Peter, she hides it and keeps hanging around Larry. Their chemistry keeps bubbling until Larry finally confesses he is in love with her.
you know, maybe I should just go ahead and do your whole back. Yeah, your bra strap is getting in the way here. I'll just bite it off with my teeth.
And as shocking as that is, Lois's cheating is not limited to family or friends. In one of her most humiliating moments yet, she nearly wrecks her marriage by chasing after the handyman. You would think Lois had learned her lesson after nearly hooking up with Peter's son. But in season 20, episode 18, she proves that she is still the thirstiest housewife in town. This time her target is the Griffin family handyman, Jamie, who shows up to fix the house and almost ends up breaking the marriage. It all begins when Lois answers the door and meets Jamie for the first time. He is tall, muscular, and so handsome that Lois practically turns into a Muppet the moment she sees him.
I heard you had a hole that needed to be filled.
Yeah.
He shows up to fix a simple repair, but every word out of his mouth sounds like a pickup line. When he says he is here to fill a hole, Lois hears something else entirely. Even Meg and Stewie cannot help but stare at him, proving this guy might be the most attractive guest character in the show's history. From there, Lois suddenly discovers 100 reasons to keep him around. A leaky ceiling, a squeaky floorboard, a corrupt picture frame, you name it. She calls Jamie to fix it. And every time he shows up, she gets more dressed up. Crop tops, short skirts, high heels, like she is preparing for a date instead of a repair. Meg notices too, and the mother-daughter rivalry for Jamie's attention begins.
What the hell are you doing?
Showing Jamie I have the sexiest and longest legs in this house.
Lois starts warning Meg to back off, even threatening her if she tries to interfere. Meanwhile, Jamie seems oblivious to the chaos, just happily fixing things around the house while being ogled like a piece of meat. But Meg is not about to let Lois win. She sabotages the situation by rigging an electrical shock. and poor Jamie takes the hit. For a moment, it seems like he is fine, until he steps into the street to prove it, and immediately gets run over by a truck. And that is the story of Lois Griffin, television's worst wife. From kissing Meg's partners, to chasing teenagers, to nearly running off with Peter's son, and finally seducing the handyman, she has proven time and again that she cannot be trusted. I'll leave it here, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, or Lois will cheat with you. Bye.